Hi, everyone, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today, we're going to be discussing one of my favorite planets in astrology, which is Jupiter. So, Jupiter rules Pisces and Sagittarius, and both of these signs are mutable. So, they are adaptive, they're expansive, and they're current. Okay. They keep up with the current times and they are drawn to spaces of philosophy and learning and enrichment. And so Jupiter is about the areas of our lives that enrich us, that cause us to get inspired, that cause us to take action in the direction of our souls. Now, the gifts of going on this path is that you find where you thrive in the world. You find what you're good at. But sometimes, and oftentimes as humans, when we find something we're really good at, when we find belonging, we can get very attached to this. And Jupiter, the planet of good luck, can all of a sudden turn into the planet of bad luck. So not only does Jupiter rule our expansion and our wealth and our fortune, but the loss of all of those things as well if we do not understand our limits, if we do not understand our own pace. And the reason we're going to be talking about Jupiter through the houses is because the houses are the areas of our lives where planetary energies play out. When it comes to Jupiter, we're going to be looking at what area of your life, what house in your life, in your chart, can tell us the area where you are going to thrive and light up the most, put you on the path of most fortune and most abundance. So Jupiter in the first house, let's talk about this one. The first house is the house of self, and it's also what we inherit from our family because the first house is our birth. So think of this as birth. You literally might actually be someone who can help birth new ideas or birth children, or work in family development, or even be a life coach or somebody who can offer some sort of personal philosophy to others. Uh, Jupiter also rules philosophy. So this can kind of show you as well where your philosophies on life may lay. Okay. So with Jupiter in the first house, you may have this philosophy of I am this individual, I am this independent person, I have to grow from my family. I have to grow into my own person. I have to become my own person. There could feel like there's sort of that affecting you. And that's very good for you to follow that. It's very good for you to study up on your personal philosophy. Definitely education, okay? Since Jupiter also rules education. And the first house would be education about you, about perhaps psychology or family psychology, right? Because in understanding ourselves as individuals, we have to understand the parts of the collective that we're part of. Jupiter in the second house shows that when you take control of your finances, your time management, your plans of life, everything unfolds for you. So when you can really harness and manage your own resources, when you can be making your own money, when you can be, managing your life as an adult can and will, you open up opportunities. People notice your hard work. People want to share their resources with you. The downside to this placement is becoming too greedy, right? When we become very good at something or we start attracting a lot of abundance, the challenge of Jupiter in the second house is not to hoard, is not to, be greedy, is not to take, but is rather to understand that giving or receiving is also giving, right? So we have to be willing to give and support others. So this placement needs to also do charity from time to time, needs to do volunteer work, needs to invest even. You could attract great luck from investing in other, people's projects and plans. Now, of course, you are a person who needs to pay very special attention to your own finances and life goals. But the end result of this with Jupiter in the second house should be that you give it away to others, or at least help others achieve their own personal and financial goals. Okay, so Jupiter in the third house tells us that we might be really good historians, people who know things about the past, people who know the history of the world, people who can give us the past so that we don't repeat it, right? These are people who are devoted to understanding who we are and how we got here. These are the people who likely read all the books, who do all the research, who, want to know all the information. Okay. Now, the question of this placement is whether you are too self-righteous about what you know. Do you become too hoity-toity about your knowledge? Do you withhold knowledge, perhaps even? Do you see yourself as, the God or the ultimate teacher? Can you navigate that and be open and still stay open to what other people have to say? This could also go another way where it's, can you step away from what you know and get uncomfortable with what you might not know? Can you be challenged? If you can be an excellent teacher, you can be an excellent educator, you can be an excellent once again, historian or archaeologist, or somebody who really studies the past, and also great in politics in this way. Okay, so Jupiter in the fourth house means that luck and abundance find you when you take care of your family, when you take care of your home, when you take care of others, when you also really take care of yourself, since the fourth house is about not only our family, but our internal family. So how you talk to yourself, how you invest in yourself. These are all very important things for your well-being, especially your well-being at work, since the fourth opposes the 10th house. Now, what I will say with this placement is that you want to be careful not to get too emotionally involved with yourself, to get too attached to your own internal state and internal well-being. You want to be able to monitor it without getting lost in it. And you want to be able to also, with this placement, maintain a degree of separation between your work and home life, or even your home life and your personal life. This is a placement that struggles with boundaries between these worlds that, yes, can be an awesome, person at home and at work, but finding the way to balance these two and to radically know how to set boundaries and take care of themselves will be very important. Okay, Jupiter in the fifth house. When you tap into your creative, artistic potential, you thrive. When you get out of your own way and you let yourself create, you thrive. You're likely going to be like a really successful artist. The problem with the fifth house is the ego. It's the letting yourself go there. It's the letting go of what other people think. It's the letting go of your success, since likely you will attract a lot of attention and success based on this placement. So learning to take everything with a grain of salt, to not get too attached to what this person says or what this person says, and to shine your light anyways, and to invest in your creative potential. Go to art school, take that art class, do that thing that's going to help you broaden your horizons. Okay, that's what Jupiter there is trying to tell you to do. Jupiter in the sixth house. This is a person who thrives when they have a strong understanding of discipline and self-duty. This is a person who can really thrive in like a corporate world, perhaps, or just a world where you can, focus on the nitty-gritty of things, perhaps, human resources or management. The sixth house also deals with service. So this is a person who can really succeed at service to others. Now, the downside of this placement, as is with any sixth house placement, is that you may sacrifice your body in order to do this. You may sacrifice your own internal well-being, since the sixth opposes the 12th, and the 12th is all about our mental well-being. So this is a person who really needs to watch out for that workaholicism. Yes, workaholicism. You need to look out for that, and you need to make sure that, although you can really thrive in the office and probably thrive underneath someone, like I don't see you being top dog, but being like support to a top dog will benefit you with rewards. It actually might allow you to move up in the company. Now that I think about it, since Jupiter can be about like our ascension and moving up, but be careful not to neglect these very personal needs to you. The sixth house is also cadent, which means it's unconscious. So you also want to investigate your reasons for, like, why am I working so hard? What am I doing this for? Am I part of a pyramid scheme? Like, you want to ask yourself these questions. Jupiter in the seventh house, you are likely a person who really thrives around people. You're a great leader. You could also just be a great facilitator of community, of parties, a great host. You know how to do your thing around people. You can really, this is a really good placement for, gosh, just life in general, knowing how to deal with people, knowing how to speak to people, knowing how to um, organize people, manage people, oversee people. Um, I would say that the downside of this placement is that you neglect your alone time and you might have this savior complex where, oh, I'm here to save everyone and I'm here to, control the masses. And you might even be somewhat of like a cult leader where with Jupiter and beliefs, you're giving those beliefs to others, expecting they'll follow you. So you want to be careful not to overinvest in the importance of others, and you want to make sure to take that time to really understand yourself intimately and who you are outside of the crowd. Okay, Jupiter in the eighth house. This is such an interesting placement. So with Jupiter in the eighth house, I find that these people have a lot of support throughout their lives, whether it's from parents, grandparents, scholarships. Okay, the beautiful thing about this is that you have support available to you. But the eighth house also rules debt. So it could be like, okay, I'm an entrepreneur, I have a business, and I can really easily get an investor, right? Because Jupiter is also things that come easy to us. So I can easily get an investor. People want to pour their resources into you. Like, this is really great. Okay. People want to pour their resources into you. They want to support you. The problem of this placement is that we might take that for granted. We might have debts, or we just might have this feeling of guilt. Like, why do I have all this? I haven't worked for it. So the important part of this is to really get firm about your own resources and what belongs to you. This is a person who shares assets with their partner, but needs to open their own bank account because that could end at some day. The eighth house is all about death and ending. So just be careful of not using your natural magnetism to attract money and resources. Don't get too reliant on that. Have a savings account. Okay, Jupiter in the ninth house. I would say this is one of the luckiest placements because it really enables you to have this very broad view of the world, tolerance for other cultures, an ability to go in and receive new information and to teach, to be an amazing teacher. But Jupiter is also asking us here to let go of our life philosophies and to open up to what others have to say. So although you have the potential to be this very tolerant person, you might not start out that way. You might be a person who's rather intolerant of other views and opinions at first. And so the path of growth here is to step out of what you know and is to really open up to the world. And in this, you become this amazing channel for information, for messaging, but you have to get over your own stubbornness, right? To access this luck, to go into spaces where you are called to do something, differently. Okay, Jupiter. Oh my God, look at my hair. Jupiter in the 10th house, which I have and can speak very well to. Jupiter in the 10th house. You guys, we are entrepreneurs. We are doers. We know how to build a business. We know how to make something from nothing. It's not hard for us. We have a vision, we see it, we do it easy. The thing about this is that although you can attract incredible success in business, it can also keep you down. Jupiter can also draw our boxes. So it's like, wow, I'm really good at this thing. This is where I thrive. Cool, I found my purpose. But Jupiter doesn't work like that. Jupiter's going to knock down whatever you're good at so you can rebuild it and learn and get better. Okay, so like the ninth house, going back to the ninth house. Okay, I can knock down, my philosophies of life and have new ones, but then I'm set there. No. If you get too comfortable for too long, Jupiter will come around and make you uncomfortable. So the 10th house is this, Jupiter in the 10th house is this constant re-establishment of values of your business, of what you're putting out there to the world, of what you're creating. And Jupiter in the 10th house can also indicate a person with strong spiritual values, with a strong need to understand the current state of the world and to adapt their business model to that. Depending on the sign here as well, it can really tell you like what you value, what you want to learn more about in order to bring your business up. Um, it doesn't have to just be business. This could also just be, the things that you talk about or teach about um, are going to be questioned a lot in this life. And you're going to have to kind of rebuild your public image several times or redo things several times to find alignment or to just, you're just a very curious person in terms of your career as well. This could just be several career changes and explorations. Okay, so Jupiter in the 11th house of community service, of working on big scale projects, of making money, of distributing money to others, shows that you are a community leader. You're somebody who can really support and aid others. You might be like somewhat of a humanitarian. You might have this perpetual need to help and to invest in other people. And the downside to this is that you lose sight of your own interests and your own light. And I feel like with these planets 10 through 12, the struggle is always thinking in terms of the collective and not thinking in terms of yourself, because there's some sort of scarring around your own self-will, right? So you need to trust in your ability to shine and to make decisions based on that desire to shine, or else you will just get tired and resentful of all the help that you give out, right? Because Jupiter, it's like, yeah, I can really thrive in this community, but like, what kind of community do I want to serve? What kind of community do I want to build? What kind of community do I want to lead for? All these questions pop up, and Jupiter is not going to give you a break until you start to balance, right, that 5th house with that 11th house energy of what I need to shine versus what I'm doing to help others shine. Okay, Jupiter in the 12th house. So Jupiter, the planet of philosophies and expansion, shows that spirituality is very, very important to your expansion as a person. Spirituality is an important point, but spirituality in scripture, we all know, can also really box us in. It can really limit our opportunities. And so we have to understand the limits of religion here, the limits of spirituality, the limit of how much a program can help us. And also the limit of our own spiritual understanding, especially in the 12th house, which is already about limits. You have to understand the limits of your own consciousness so that you do not become so enraptured in whatever religious faith you're studying that you become a devout or fundamentalist, whatever, right? So maintaining a degree of skepticism while continuing to practice spirituality and religion, you can be an incredible influencer for others' healing, for others' service. Marianne Williamson has Jupiter in the 12th house. My dad, who's a big AA sponsor, has Jupiter in the 12th house. So you just have to keep in mind like the limits of the advice that you can give versus where other people are at. So you have to balance, right, that enlightenment and empowerment you get from your own spiritual practice with the understanding that not everybody's there and that you're going to have to somewhat adapt your own understandings to the understandings of others, but that you have this amazing power to spiritually enlighten people and give them the guidance they need.
So I'm editing this video right now, and I wanted to add in one more thing about Jupiter in the 12th house. Jupiter and how we expand and move forward in life going through the 12th house means we have to deal with all these 12th house themes to expand, right? We have to deal with death. We have to deal with loss. We have to deal with addiction, possibly, with being really lost for a long time. And through that lostness, we discover our spiritual values, which we continue to explore because Jupiter, the explorer in the 12th house, is asking all the questions of spirituality.
Okay, guys, that was my speed round of Jupiter through the houses. I really hope it helped you. Just giving my thoughts out there. I appreciate you guys coming to my YouTube channel. Likely you know me from TikTok. Go follow me on TikTok at Ethan B. Paisley. I post a lot of short-term content there. Long-term content, sort of a new thing for me that I'm getting into. And I hope it can kind of help embellish on some of these things that I talk about in my TikTok channel. So thanks for watching. I'll talk to you guys next time. Bye.